Elvis has been recording in his den at the Jungle Room in 1976, and he finished out the year with a couple recording sessions that produced, I believe, 3 or 4 songs right there at the end of 1976, and. To fulfill his contractual obligations with RCA for 1977, his producer, Felton Jervis, compiled the remaining Jungle Room songs and a selection of live recordings that had not been released before, and released them as an album called Moody Blue that came out in early 1977. This album was another one of the first albums that I actually had on vinyl. I have my copy here. The neat thing about the original was that it was actually done on blue vinyl. And that has always been a memorable thing about this album. It's not rare, so if you ever find someone who's trying to sell you a copy of Moody Blue and is trying to up the price of it because it's got blue vinyl, they're ripping you off, because this was the main thing. If you find one with black vinyl, though, that's a different story. But as far as Moody Blue is concerned, listening to this album again, I used to listen to this album a lot when I was growing up. This specific copy of it. I have personal connections to not necessarily the specific version of Unchained Melody that appears on this, but the one that everyone knows, the Rapid City recording from Elvis in concert, was recorded an hour from where I grew up, and I've been to concerts in that facility, and they have a big thing up on the wall, and they have a little display of all the artifacts and stuff from when Elvis performed at the Rushmore Civic Center in Rapid. So knowing that concert happened and that Elvis did Unchained Melody at that show, this album always kind of resonated with me because it has a version of Unchained Melody that sounds very similar to that version. The rest of the album is sort of a mixed bag, actually. The first half is the live stuff. If You Love Me, Let Me Know, Little Darlin', and Let Me Be There, which, if I recall correctly, is from the Memphis album, the recorded in Memphis album. But anyway, and He'll Have to Go is on side A as well. And side B features all Graceland recordings: Way Down, Pledging My Love, Moody Blue, She Thinks I Still Care, and It's Easy for You. Way Down was one of the bigger hits off this. Moody Blue was also a minor hit, but Way Down was the big one, and in fact was just hitting the top of the country charts when Elvis passed away. Pledging My Love is an old 50s song, and Elvis's version on this album is adequate. The version that's an alternate take that appears on Way Down in the Jungle Room is actually, I think, a better performance. Moody Blue is actually a disco song. It's kind of an early disco song. If you actually sit and listen to it, makes you wonder if he would have lived, if he would have jumped on the disco bandwagon or not for a little while. Gosh, that's hard to imagine. Yeah, this is a hard album to classify because it's become sort of a classic because of when it came out, because of the circumstances surrounding it. It got pushed to, I mean, obviously when an artist dies, whatever their most recent release was, or whatever the next release immediately afterward, is going to be a huge sales success and is going to be a huge chart success. and I almost wonder if it's gotten more attention and um, uh, more praise than maybe it was than it justified content-wise. Um, the songs that were from the Graceland sessions are actually quite good, but put up against that live stuff, it doesn't flow very well. It's a good album, but it definitely doesn't hold up as well as it originally did. And those live recordings, or sorry, the studio Graceland recordings work better in the context of between these two together. So I quite like Moody Blue still, but re-listening to it, I've found that it's maybe not as good as a cohesive whole as I think it's more memorable because of when it came out than anything else. So that's Moody Blue.